Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of Boyographic, show in which I, Matt the Game Boy, will take you through the highs and lows of the Game Boy library, one card at a time. This week, the Doctor's in with Dr. Mario. It could just be the company I keep, but it feels to me that we now all have, and often share, pieces of media that will forever be interwoven with our memories of lockdown. For some, it's things like Tiger King, The Queen's Gambit, or Bo Burnham's Inside. Some folks took up new hobbies to pass the time, and for a lot of my friends and colleagues, that was often video games. While I've no shortage of friends who got into things like Among Us, Animal Crossing and Fortnite as a means of staying social, I also know folks who escaped to Hyrule or even hell itself to get through those trying times. One group of friends in particular, though, got really into Dr. Mario. Was it a dubious link to the virus that got them into it? Had they fallen down a rabbit hole of ROMs and found it by chance? Nope. Apparently, they all enjoyed playing it in their youth, and that's how they spent their days, battling each other head-to-head in two-player game mode to stay sane in a world growing stranger as the days went by. While I'd of course played Dr. Mario, the puzzling to be had in the game never gripped me in the same way that games like Tetris did. But given their excitement, I did dust off my NES and give the game a few goes before venturing out to play it head-to-head, once becoming social was a thing again. Even in multiplayer though, I don't think the game holds a candle to something like Tetris Battle Gaiden, but there is an odd charm to the game that I admit I'd overlooked. Given the big part colour plays in the NES version of the game, I had long written off the Game Boy release for obvious reasons, but having come around to the console version, my curiosity was piqued and so I took it for a spin. For those of you who've never played any version of Dr. Mario before, the game is very straightforward. On the playing field, the player has a mix of red, blue and yellow viruses that everyone's favourite plumber-cum-physician attempts to battle by throwing pills at them. There are 6 types of pills, 3 that are the same colour each side, and then there are 3 possible permutations of the 2 coloured pills. The player must manipulate the position of these pills to not only land upon or touch the viruses, but to connect 4 or more pieces of the same colour together in order to clear them from the board. Once the player kills all the viruses, you advance to the next stage. Easy enough, right? Well, as I already mentioned, chromatic puzzle quests aren't really the Game Boy's forte, given its dot matrix display and all. Therefore, the viruses become black, white and a half-tone grey. At first, this isn't too much of an issue, as the spacious wells of the early stages provide plenty of contrast thanks to the ample white space, meaning that you can pick out viruses and pills easily, allowing you to place pills correctly with very little hassle. On the later stages, well, let's just say not so much. By pressing A to rotate a pill clockwise and B to shift it counterclockwise, a la Tetris, Dr. Mario's mechanics are incredibly straightforward to understand. It's how the pills themselves work that provides the challenge. Each pill essentially consists of 2 pieces, and while it is very easy to handle when dropping a solid colour pill onto a waiting match, it provides a hidden layer of depth when you're, say, using a dual coloured pill to achieve the same end. If a piece of a pill isn't included in a match, either because it wasn't aligned vertically or horizontally to the match 4, or because it was a different colour to the match in question, then that piece of pill will remain in play, either falling down the well or in later stages usually onto the virus directly below the one you just cleared. Like any good game of this ilk, using these leftover pieces is actually the key to combos in the game, allowing you to set up and plan a domino effect of effective drops to clear large swaths of the board. While I have seen this done to great effect by players who are more familiar with the game, I have to admit I wasn't able to master it enough during my time with the game to trigger the hidden 4 combo Mario jingle. Which, as rewards go, I think is a really nice touch. Speaking of jingles, it goes without saying that the music in this game is a straight 10, as it features a score by Hip Tanaka. Whether you choose Fever or Chill, you're guaranteed to have a good time, as honestly, they're both incredible pieces of music that, for my money, sound even better on the Game Boy than they do on the NES. That, though, is perhaps the only compliment I can give over the home console, however, as well, despite it being one of the highest selling games on the system, I can't really recommend the Game Boy version. While the game is a commendable attempt to capture the magic of a home console game on a handheld, and in fact it is notable for being the first game to launch day and date on both the NES and Game Boy in Japan, Dr. Mario on the Game Boy is a pale imitation of the more fully fleshed out home console version. As I said up top, at first the ample white space in the well means getting your pills in the right place is straightforward and generally enjoyable enough. When you get into the higher levels of the game's 20 stages though, it became incredibly difficult for me to rely on my peripheral vision to move the pills into the right place, as the movement of the grayscale viruses in particular would really mess up how my eyes read the board. I admit that could just be me getting old or some weird quirk of my capture setup, but it really didn't make for a good time while I was playing this game, and honestly it was almost migraine-inducing. The same options as on the NES are present to the player here, allowing you to adjust the pill's drop rate and to select a stage. If you've got a friend with a cartridge, you can also take them on head-to-head, but it doesn't really offer anywhere near the thrill of the home console version, as you can only see your own well, removing all the tension from the battle unless you've got a particularly vocal opponent. If you see it cheap, and if you're trying to flesh out your collection, then by all means pick up a copy of Dr. Mario and give it a go. If you're interested in trying the game, or are particularly picky with your pickups though, I'd say to give this game a wide berth. Given that the game has seen a port, sequel or remake to every one of Nintendo's home consoles since the NES, far superior versions of the game are ready and waiting for you to play through right now. And for me, that's a better place to invest in a game that can, when experienced in full colour, be just what the Doctor ordered if you're looking for some Match 3 style fun. And that brings us to the end of another Boyographic, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please let me know what your experience with playing Dr. Mario is down in the comments below. And until next week, Game Boys and Girls, where I'll be back with another Boyographic. Be sure, as always, to game on.